Hi there. I'm Johan. This is my colleague Jock from Support Your Local Business, and we're the founders of Support Your Local Business. And our goal with Support Your Local Business is to help local businesses grow and be successful, to not only survive but actually thrive.
Yeah, that's it. What we're going to do today is we're going to talk about social media content. We're going to touch on some of the stuff that we've spoken about in the past, and then we're also going to lay down our plan of rolling out Support Your Local Business in the future and what that kind of looks like, so that you can get your own idea of how yours could look. You don't necessarily need to model ours, but it'll give you a good idea of where to start and where you should be heading. So just before we jump into it, make sure to like and subscribe and do everything that you're supposed to do if you'd like to see more of our videos, because yeah, we're building it all, warts and all. If you haven't seen some of the videos, we'll be referring to it during the run of this video. I'll most probably be doing stuff like this if I link it in the as a card above. But yeah, we've spoken about a couple of these things, so there will be some videos that link back to our playlist. But yeah, that's the admin part of
it. Okay, meneer, you kick it off.
Awesome. So firstly, what we want to say is the whole reason why we're doing this. We want to build Support Your Local Business as a brand. The SYLB, it should be a brand. It should be seen as a thought leader for local businesses to promote our expertise. So we're also doing it to build a following. We'll be discussing SYLB, distinguishing SYLB from our competitors. Not really that there will be any competitors. We're going to talk about that most probably not in this video, but I think quite soon. We also want to encourage our audience to engage with us and participate in the conversations that we're having. We want to position Support Your Local Business as a go-to destination for our target audience, which is business owners. And then eventually we will act as a lead generating machine for our members, for our business members. So people buy from people. That's the biggest thing that, yeah, it's not companies or anything. At the end of the day, it's people buy from people, and they buy from people that they know, like, and trust. And that's kind of the idea that we're basing the whole Support Your Local Business around, is making it seem more like the person that's behind the business and helping you communicate with other people that will eventually become your customer. So that's our whole main aim with Support Your Local Business, and helping you to do that on a shoestring budget and compete with all the local, national, international brands online, because these days you can really do it. Fantastic. So looking at the channels that we already set up, like I said, we've discussed some of this already. I'll link notes as I speak. I'll most probably do different chapters. But we have the Support Your Local Business website. That is a link that you can link on. We'll link it in the description below as well. We've taken you through how we've set up our Facebook account. So our Facebook profile, that would be the link for it. And you'll see that it all comes down to supportyourlocalbusiness.com. We've set up our LinkedIn account as well. Once again, video linked somewhere. And then lastly, we did the YouTube account. Because it has 2.2 billion monthly active users, we decided that we're going to document our process. And that's all the videos that we're linking to, so that we can keep ourselves accountable and you can see exactly how we did it. Once we launch Support Your Local Business and you want to kind of do your own thing and understand why and how and all the rest of it. So you'll be able to find all those profiles on those links.
Guys, so how does it work? And we just slipped this slide in here to actually explain to you how social media fits into the greater scheme of events and how it links to your website. So the most important, or the easiest way to remember, what's the business, what's your website versus a sales funnel, The business website is typically your office. See that as your office versus your sales funnels or your salespeople. So you don't invite people to your business to come and buy stuff. You invite people to come and talk to a salesperson, because that salesperson actually will sell stuff to them. Goods or services, doesn't matter. And I think the important thing to remember, most businesses do not understand, or the importance of a sales funnel. A sales funnel is dedicated sales pages. It's linked to your website, but it's dedicated sales pages. And the reason why you want dedicated sales pages is when people land on your website, they probably got a 3% chance of buying anything from you. Now, 3% versus, so if you take 100 people come to visit your website, only 3 will buy immediately. And the rest you'll lose them. And the reason for that is there's so much noise, digital noise on a website. There's probably just a normal homepage. There's probably 20, 30 different buttons that you can actually draw people's attention away from your message, your core message. Most people, their homepage is exceptionally badly set up. So we call it above the fold, which is if you look at the old newspapers and you open it, that newspaper that's folded, that front bit, that is the best real estate on your website. Typically, most people don't understand that, and they put a lot of nonsense there or nothing there. And you have to scroll down further to actually come to the meat and potatoes and the real stuff. So that above the fold content is crucial to your business. But in typical fashion, there's so much noise on a website and on your home pages that people actually, you probably experienced this before. You visited the website, and after about 2 minutes, you realize you can't even remember why you visited that website. We all do it. It happens all the time. That's the reason why. Whereas if you've got a dedicated sales funnel, that page only deals with 2 things. It gives you the subject matter. You set it up properly. So above the fold information is very, very important. You set that up, your message is there, your headline and all that type of stuff. So you draw people's attention immediately. You only got 2 things there. It's a matter of the content on the page. If it draws people's attention, they'll continue reading it or they'll click out. But there's nothing else that draws the attention away. And that's why it's so important to have sales funnels for your business as well. So in general, how does this work? Sorry, Joe.
No, I have 2 questions. The one is, would you then start with a website or would you start with a sales funnel?
Remember, you have to first get your house in order. If you want to sell online. So get your house in order. So create a space where you can actually channel people to. So a website is quite important from an information point of view. It's about credibility, all those things that we listed, that you went through. It's creating that credibility that you're a proper business, So they're not going to go and talk to a salesperson with regards to, are you probably registered? Where are you located? That's not that discussion. But so it's important to have an information
almost section, like a brochure.
Like a brochure, like a company brochure. So your website is your profile, is your company image, versus your sales funnels that's the stuff that's the place where you send people to go and buy stuff. So if I've got a good deal on these pens, the next thing is to actually send people to that website, or that, not website, to that sales funnel, and they can only buy a pen or 2 or 10 or in batches of 100 for that matter, in bulk. The benefit for them is there's no other things that draws their attention away. They can only buy a pen on that specifically sales funnel page.
Okay, so what I'm hearing you say is that your website's basically like a brochure, so that you'll log everything. You'll log your services, all the different products, your sales team, about yourself, where you started, your mission, vision, all of that would be in your website. And then your sales page would be for a specific product or a specific offer that you have, that you want to drive business. Okay.
Exactly like that.
And
Now,
then one other question I had was with your, you speak above the content above the fold. What would you typically have above the fold?
well, what's important there is you don't want, let me tell you what you don't want to do there. You don't want to put a great photo or image there, and there's no other content, and there's no other, what do you call it, meat and potatoes in there. Now people land on a website and all they see is a photo. Or you put a huge logo on the one side and there's nothing else. So what do you want to do? You want to use that once again to inform people. So that above the fold space, use that to inform people. If you're a services company, tell people what services you provide. Let's say, for instance, you're an accountant. Put in your unique selling points there. Because remember, people are all very, very focused today on getting, it's instant gratification. You have to draw people's attention within the first 2-3 seconds. Otherwise, I like goldfish, they swim away and they got, and you lost them. So that content that you put there is tailor-made to draw attention and sell your business. So, like I said, what's your unique selling points? You're an accountant, but you might be a tax expert. You can save people money on tax. So put that there. Do you want to save, 15, 20,000 Rand or get a tax rebate of 15,000 Rand a year? Come and talk to me. We know how to do that for you. Now, you see, there you already draw my attention. By just saying, I'm an accountant, you haven't said anything. You have not distinguished yourself from the competitor out there. So the important bit is to actually use that space to distinguish yourself. Put in your tagline, company tagline. That tagline must talk to people, must sell your business once again. People don't understand how powerful a proper tagline can be. Put your elevator speech there. If you don't know what the elevator speech is, we'll probably do a video key on that. But I think that is a very, very powerful tool as well, because in 30 seconds, it takes for you to move from the ground floor to the 5th floor of in a building, and you spoke to people in the lift. You tell them exactly what your business is about in 30 seconds. So that is how powerful and concise that message should be. It's boiled down to the essence of your business. That's the kind of stuff you put on that above the fold space on your website.
So would it be different from a website to a sales funnel? Whereas with the website, if it's a painting business, they can, in the above the fold on the website, they go, we put paint on everything, so that you kind of get an idea of what exactly their business is all about, so that you can start scrolling and start finding out. But it's intriguing enough for them to start scrolling. Whereas with the sales page, you'll go, we'll give you X without Y, without this pain point for a specific price. So would that kind of be the structure?
That is exactly it. So you get to the point on a sales funnel, you tell them exactly what it is. Then further down, depending on what product you have, if people buy paint from you, and it's a brand name paint, you do not have to tell and convince people it's good paint. It's already, the brand speaks for itself. If it is an unknown brand, and maybe paint is a bad example, but I think let's go with this. So if it's an unknown brand, you have to de-risk this. So what do you tell people? You give them a little bit of information on how good the paint is, and there might be 2 or 3 referrals of clients that's very happy with that specific paint brand and the service they got from you. So understand what you do. So you're talking about the product only, and then you start de-risking it if you need to. If you don't need to, and the product sells itself, you don't need to actually go through a big hoo-ha. It's a matter of, for people that wants to buy, let's say, Dulux paint. It's a good deal, I'll buy it. It's as simple as that, because people that is channeled to your, remember there's a process that precedes people landing on a landing page. So you placed an ad, let's say in Facebook, they clicked on the ad, then they land on your website, not your website, on your sales funnel page. There, they get the product and the deal. They're already hungry. They've already pre-qualified themselves through coming from Facebook to buy the product. You don't have to convince them again to buy the product. The only thing that's pretty much there now is how much it's going to cost. If it is an unknown product, if they don't know about it, then you actually now need to go through a whole process of educating the client and taking them through that process to convince them, de-risk the situation, etc., to buy the product.
One good example that I've heard with how to structure your sales page is to think of the normal conversation you have to sell your product. And it usually works best with established businesses, with established customers. But to kind of follow that same, because your top salesperson for a specific thing would know what conversation they would have. So to think of the further you scroll down, the more objections you need to handle. So when you make your first offer, what's usually the first objection? Is it that people don't know it? Is it that people don't trust it? Is it that the price is too high? And then to address, as you scroll down, to address every single session to say, okay, well, if it's that maybe it's not trustworthy, here's some testimonials. If it's not known, here are a as seen, and you'll create your sales page as long as those objections come up, so that you can address all of them. Is that kind of how you would structure your sales page?
What you're saying there is very important. When you try and sell, we're getting off the subject now, but I think it's quite a good subject to discuss. So when you're selling something to a person, all those objectives you should have already thought of, and you should address it already in your narrative. So you don't have to wait for a person to ask that question. You already anticipate what it is and you give him that answer to it. So part of your sales narrative, you already include and kill those objections that they have and concerns they have. You already address it. So you don't have to now specifically say, so by the way, you might be worried about this. No, you don't go that route. You actually address it in the narrative, in your sales narrative, in your sales process. So you already address it. So for those that's thinking of this, and this, remember, we are doing this, and this. And I'm just playing with ideas now, but that is how you actually address objections before people ask the question. Because if I already told you the answer to that, you're not going to ask the question. And it already gives you that comfort, because you know what, these guys are they have already gone through the process and they understand how my concerns, So I think that is very important. We definitely need to do a video on this. I think it's a very good subject to have there's so many intricacies that you have to work into sales funnels, and maybe show them the whole process of from creating the campaign in Facebook or wherever, and it runs through to a sales funnel, and then the buying process that goes with it, because that's an art in itself, and most people don't understand how important it is to actually are already met. And it depends on, guys, it depends on what you do. Like we said, if you're selling Dulux paint, it's a well-known paint brand. You don't have to worry about the quality of the paint. The paint brand speaks for itself. If you're selling Joe Blogg's paint that are mixed, we got it cheap from a factory, that started out now in the last year. Nobody knows about Joe Blogg's paint. So how are you going to de-risk that for people and get people on board to buy the product? That's the kind of, thought process you have to go through when you develop a marketing strategy.
Okay, awesome. Thanks so much. Sorry, I know I took us down a little bit of a rabbit hole, but I think
it's a very good subject. I think it is an exceptionally good subject. Okay, so guys, what this image shows you is it actually tells you your website. So what do? You are creating, or you're posting information on your website. And our example, let's use support your local business. So on the support your local business website, you'll see it's literally a little information website. We're busy developing a proper one, and we'll go through the details, how and what and all that later in one of our videos to show you the process we went through. But it's a little information video, and the videos are listed there. So what did we do? So what we're going to do is we created the three. So we've got Facebook, we've got LinkedIn, and we've got maybe this is for the next slide. Let's rather do this one. So what happens is you put information on your website, like say, for instance, a video. That video, you're going to put links and a short description in Facebook, LinkedIn, and in your Instagram account. So what will happen is that information, or people are then driven, they click on the link and they are driven to your website where they actually get the gist of that information. It's not just what do you call it, a 10-second video clip. It is a proper 2-3 minute video clip that explains the whole thing. And with that, they get a free downloadable PDF document and all that type of jazz. So the reality is you use those what do you call it, social media profiles you have, and it's like a spider's web. You're in the middle, your website's in the middle, and you actually draw people like your flies and all the insects that you catch in the net. You draw them into your website to come and visit your website. Once you've got sales funnels going, what do you do now? Now you want a sales stage. So you run campaigns via paid advertising on the left-hand side. So you've got Facebook ads, you've got Google ads, and you've got the Google display networks and all kinds of weird and wonderful stuff. We'll get to that later. And then you've got your social media on the other side. So what do? You channel now people, instead of to your website, you channel them to your sales funnels because you want to sell to them. The nice thing there is, once again, people want to go and, if they don't know you, they want to go and visit your website to see if you're a credible business. That's why you have to get that right. They will go and visit your Facebook profile. They go and visit your LinkedIn profile to go and see if it's a proper business. And the moment you get all those profiles to talk to each other, remember we spoke in previous videos about digital scent. So the look and feel of your website versus your Facebook profile versus your LinkedIn profile versus your YouTube channel versus your Instagram account, etc., etc. All that look and feel needs to be the same, because people are smart enough to look at this and say, but this is out of sync. This doesn't look like that one. Is it the same company? The moment you create confusion, people walk. So it's important to get that, cohesive image, company image out there to your audience. Happy days.
Awesome. Yeah, that sounds perfect.
Okay, so very quickly, we're just going to quickly run through what we are doing. So guys, this is now the opposite of the previous one. This is what we're doing for Support Your Local Business. And the reason why is right now we're not selling yet. So we're not interested in selling anything to people. So what is more important, the sales funnels or our website? So our website is more important. So because we give information to people. So exactly the same principle. There is our three social media profiles that we created, Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. And whatever information, this video, we're going to put a link in Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. YouTube is hosting those videos. So we're going to put a link in Facebook and LinkedIn to come and to our website to watch the video. So what did we do? So we created, once again, flypaper and drawing people from those social networks to our website and come and have a look at our information that's hosted on a website. You understand how that works? So it's very important to understand the difference between, why should you have social media profiles and how does that fit into your website? And then obviously your sales funnel down the line. Because if you go down the line, you'll see we've got 4 or 5 different phases that we spoke about or speak about later. And those phases, each one of them, then that focus will change from a website to a sales funnel. it will most definitely change. Within the next 2-3 months, it's going to flip around and we're going to actually start channeling people to sales funnels instead of our website. And our website will literally be the corporate image and, building that credibility with our audience and information to provide more information, but not sale. It's not selling anything. It's actually just providing that warm and fuzzy comfort feeling to potential users and clients that we know what we're doing and our business is sound. Okay, happy.
I think one thing to note is that we'll have multiple sales funnels. So we'll have the website, and then once we start onboarding business members, the conversation that we want to have with business members is why they want to become a member, what's in it for them, what are we going to give them as a value add down the line, what is the movement that they're joining, all of those different things, as well as some information on how they can run their business better. That's a completely separate conversation to what we're having on our website, which is what we're all about. And that's going to be a completely different conversation to the public members, because once we launch that, that'll have its own funnel as well. And each funnel will have a different conversation. And if you're running a business, it'll each be a separate service or a separate offer that you put together. So you'll have one website with different conversations happening in different funnels. I think that's it.
Jock, I think that's very important that you just mentioned there. If you look at your website, you've got one website, only one. You don't have 10. You've got one website. But you can have 10, 20, 30 different sales funnels, depending on your type of business and what type of products or services you're selling. So you can actually have the same product and reskin it for separate or different audiences. So my one audience, take the tax example that we had. So let's say, for instance, my one type of client audience, we call audiences, but let's say my one type of client will be businesses. So businesses will come to me for tax savings and advice, and I do their tax for them. Then the second type is individuals. So individuals will come to you for tax advice. Do you see how it's the same principle? It's the same type of product, but it's two separate sales funnels because you're talking to two separate people. When I talk business, I'm going to lose the individual person completely because he doesn't understand. He's not talking that language. If I talk individual language, as for Joe Soap out there, I'm going to lose my business client because I'm not talking that language. So you understand. So you might have the same product, but you might have 2 or 3 different sales funnels to reach that specific client niche that you are targeting, and different products, etc. So understand that it's literally, you've got one shop and you've got shelves and shelves of different products, and that shelves and shelves of different products, that's your sales funnels. You might have one sales funnel for each one of your products, or a package of products, or a basket of products. Listen, the sky's the limit, but it's important to understand the distinction. One website, various sales funnels. Understand?
And I think a thing to note as well is to start with one. So to not start with a lot, you start with one ad driving sales to one funnel that's selling one product or one offer to one client avatar. And that's where you start. Once that goes well, then you add in another one. So just to break down, take Johan's example a little bit further. With the business, business that has tax savings, you can talk about your business has tax savings. This is your financial year end. You need to work with your employees. If you get a tax saving, what you'll be able to do for your employees is give them bonuses and all of that. You can hear that conversation is going to be wildly different to a high net worth individual that you cater for bespoke. You use the language that they would use. You tell them that with their savings, they'll be able to take their families on a holiday, and you'll be able to have a much more specific conversation to drive through that value, because the values would be completely different and how you would speak to them would be completely different. I just wanted to throw in actual examples of the actual language
Jock, you're 100% right. So I think that guys, listen, this is a great video. This is going a lot further than what we thought of. But I mean, this is how these things unravel, and I hope really from a marketing point of view, you guys understand that. Because once you understand that, now you can actually apply the right thing for, it's like a toolbox. If you've got a hammer in your hand, everything looks like a nail, yeah, everything looks like a nail and you want to hit it. Whereas if you realize, but you know what, I've got a drill and I've got a hammer and I've got a screwdriver and I've got an hacksaw. Each one of those things are, you apply differently and you use them right tool for the right job. And that's exactly how this works, is you need to look at it a little bit strategically. So next slide, let's just have a look at that and understand. So we discussed this in video 6, and I'm very quickly going to just glance over this. So this is the type of content ideas that you can actually start looking at and then applying it to your business and say, you know what, let's say, for instance, let's have a poll. I've got 3 different products. Let's ask my followers. Let's have a poll and ask them which one do they think works best for this type of product or this type of application. Guess what? Now you're engaging your followers and you're going to get positive feedback. And it's also going to get, and ask it in such a fashion to give you meaningful information in order to sell better if you want to sell. If you just want to inform, then do that. But you understand what I'm saying. Now you have got polls. You've got let's vote on something. There's so many things here, and this is literally just a memory jogger of this type of content that's available to you. And I mean, this is just, like I said, these are a few listed here. There's probably another 20 out there. But now I want to show you from a strategic point of view, how does this fit into where we want to go with support your local business? So we took support your local business and we asked ourselves, how are we going to get ourselves on the map? So the first thing is we need to introduce support your local business. This video series is part of that introduction. So we show people this is what it's about, and we decided, we made that decision to do this warts and all video series to show you we're going through the same process as you as a new business owner, or even an old business owner, but you haven't got these building blocks in place. Follow this and you're going to get there. Just chip away, listen to the video, take this week and do it, and start with video 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And by doing that, you're going to just, on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, you're going to improve your business and make it more, visible and have better appeal to your target audience, etc., etc. Okay, so phase 1, introduction. Phase 2, want to build a business following. Listen to what our audience are. Our audience are local businesses. So we want to look at local businesses. That's phase 2. Phase 3, now we're going to launch our business directory application. Once that's launched, so everything in and around that launch, there will be specific content that we're going to share with people. And then phase 4 is building the public following. So now we've got the businesses, and now we're going to get the public to come and talk to each other. That's our ultimate goal, is to actually get that local communities and local people to support local businesses, and vice versa. Okay, and then the 5th phase of our strategy is then scale. So once we've got a few thousand people on board, now we want to take a few thousand and scale it to 500,000 to 1 million people, and 1 million or 500,000 businesses. Now you see that scale. That's a total different strategy than just getting your name out there and doing an introduction. And your content needs to talk to that specific phase of where you want to go with that. Okay, so let me just show you then in a nutshell, once again, very quickly, how each one of these phases, what type of content we as Support Your Local Business are going to focus on in each one of those phases. And you'll see the longer we progress with this, the bigger and more content will be out there and will be actually introduced, and will be, you're going to create that avalanche of information available. It's like a small business. You started off, you're only going to have one client in day 1. By day 10, you might have 10, 11 clients, of which 2 or 3 will be, clients that come back and support you again. By day 100, you should have 100 clients, and of which you're going to have 30 or 40 clients that come back on a consistent basis. So you see how that snowballs, and this is the same principles that we want to do here. Jock, you wanted to ask anything?
No, not at all. This is very clear.
100%. So, and I don't want to go into too much detail, but what I want to show you here is, look at this. So this is phase 1, intro. So where do we start? We start with, do you see that educational videos? That's where we started with that. We started with, the videos. We're going to look how-to tutorials. It's pretty much the same thing as what we do now. But what are we going to do? We're going to start looking at posting blog articles, share third-party content. Remember, we spoke in video 6 about third-party content. It's an easy way to actually get very nice content on your website as well as on your social media pages by referring to other people. But once again, those other people give you credibility, but also remember, guys, you have to give credit where credit is due. You can't just use people's content and information. So typically get consent, or alternatively give full credit. This is the author, this is the company, etc., etc. By doing it that way and creating that backlinks, put in their website address, etc., etc. Now you're creating backlinks, so they get the benefit from you posting information from their information as well. Nobody say no to backlinks. Nobody's saying no to additional traffic that comes your way. They will say no, and they're going to get very upset if you don't give them credit and you just take the information and you make it as if it's your own. Don't do that. It's very, very bad form to do that. Okay. So literally, these are the type of content that applies to the introduction phase. Then when we start building our business following, we're going to do a competition launch. We're going to make use of user. Do you see now there's enough people that's actually going to start generating content for us, responses, etc., etc. So that user-generated content, we can have polls. So we identify this is the type of content that we can actually focus on when we're looking at build the business following in phase 2. Then we go to phase 3. You see how that thing grows exponentially, and it's not just the type of content, but the volume as well. So you will see in phase 3, there's going to be a massive upswell of various content volumes. So we're not going to have one blog post, every 2 weeks. Now we're going to increase the frequency where we're going to have a weekly blog post. Product tutorials. We might have one every second week, a PDF document that people can download. Do you see that? Lead magnets and free downloads, downloadable documents. That's the kind of stuff that we want to share with people to draw people in. This is a great document. This is a great checklist. If you don't have this checklist for your local business, download it now. So what do? I channel people from Facebook to my website where they can actually get that specific PDF document and they can download it. You see how those things fit into each other again. And then phase 4, we'll go through this later, in future videos as well. But now you see how that has grown as well. And this is not the one and all. Guys, I just want to give you an idea of this is the way of looking at this and say, and you can do this for your own business. We say, you know what, I've got virtually zero, online presence. So how do I introduce my business? And then look at how do I target specific people? And then, so you understand, you can have 1, 2 phases or 1, 2, 3 phases. It doesn't have to be this, but then start looking at what kind of content you can slot into those phases and start sharing with people. Building right at the beginning, what Jock said, the know, like, and trust factor with your audience. And ticking off those goals that we want to achieve with it. And that's pretty much the extent of my discussion on this. Jock, do you want to add anything?
I just want to add, obviously, we're going to have teams and we have big aspirations to do copious amounts of work. But when you're looking at this as a small business, we know that you don't have a team, you don't have a lot of people helping you. So go and have a look at different types of content that you can do. Pick one and then do that as to the best of your ability. Don't try to do blog posts and share content and do a lead magnet, and you're kind of running in circles and being inconsistent at the best of times and deciding that you're going to be on multiple platforms doing multiple things, because it's gonna burn you out. Especially as an entrepreneur, you have a lot of responsibilities. You're driving your business, there's admin, there's everything that goes. This shouldn't be an added burden. This should be one thing that you can do quite well. Choose the platform that you're on already and then go, I'm going to share third-party content. I'm going to do that for half an hour every Monday and Friday, and then just do that. And when you find that that's something that you can do, and maybe you can ask one of your team members to start doing it, then you can focus on the next thing and build out all these different channels, but build it out in a consistent way. That's the number one thing. And so that you're not scattered, and that you can do it consistently and as well as you possibly can. Because just posting something today, I don't know, we have a giveaway, but there's nothing really behind it. That's going to hurt your business more than anything else. So make sure you can do it well and then do it consistently. Choose one thing, just make it simple.
Jock, I can't agree more with you. Consistency is king, guys. So follow Jock's advice. I can't say it better than that. That's literally the gist of it. Stay consistent, meaning if you post on a Monday, even if it's just a small little thing, keep on doing it on a Monday. But it's that momentum that you build that actually takes this thing further, because people now anticipate every Monday there's something new that you share with them. And that's important. And take this content. Do not underestimate the skill and knowledge that you as a business owner have. Think about what I'm saying. Every one of us have got secrets in our business that you take for granted, a quick fix here and a quick thing there that you can do. Most people, I'm talking about the general public out there, is totally unaware of this. So just sharing those kind of pearls of wisdom. The other day I spilled some grease, or I actually bumped against something. I got grease on the shirt as well as a pair of shorts. And I struggled with this. My wife struggled with it. We couldn't get it clean. We went to the dry cleaners around the corner, and they charged me $50 to get this sorted. Literally $50. 3 days later, I got there a day later. They said, no, they're still busy soaking this. So I said, okay, well, I was literally on the brink of writing the shirt and the pair of shorts off. 2 days later, I went there the Thursday. Guess what? Cleaned. I could not believe my eyes. And that's the kind of, secret that business has. Just showing, guys, we can actually do this, and this in our business. Most people, what you take for granted, most people do not understand it, and they do not know it. So share that kind of pools of wisdom, and you've got content, plenty of content. You can literally, just by thinking a little bit out of the box, you can have enough content to put something on your Facebook page and on your website on a weekly basis. And it doesn't have to be a book or a 500 word paragraph. It can be a very small something. Think the old Chappie papers, the back end of the Chappie wrapper. Did you know? That is a fantastic analogy. Did you know? Boom, 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 boom. And you put it on your Facebook page, you put it on your website, and that did you know becomes a series. And eventually people will go there and they'll look at the one, and then they realize, but there's 50 others, and they're going to go start reading all the 50 others. And that is how you build your audience, guys. That's very simple.
One thing I also love is a guy called Gary Vee came up with a concept that most people on social media, they want to see basically the videos that we're doing now, but obviously much shorter content. But they want to see the warts and all. They want to see how you document different things that you're doing instead of producing different things. So a lot of people, when they say that they're going to start posting on social, they want to create something that's 100% perfect. Like it can be produced, it can be broadcast on TV. It needs to be that well produced. And it's exactly the opposite. Like you'll get more engagements. And remember, the big aim is so that people feel like they know, like, and trust you, but they need to know you first. If you have something, I don't want to go into feminism where you look at a girl that has lipstick and makeup and the hair's done and all of that. You're never going to feel like you know that person. Once you see them without makeup on a Saturday morning, that's who the real person is. So good kind of thing to drive this home is if you're a restaurant, you don't need to post all the fantastic specials that you have because that's going to be a menu with a plate of food that's perfect with the discount. That can be something that you post maybe once a week, maybe once every second week. But what people want to see is how you do things. So, how do you cook a steak? What does your kitchen look like when you're making salads? What does your staff look like? Document different things like when you wake up, when you get to the restaurant, how do you open up? How do you start cleaning? And then just document things that you're already doing. Because when people see that, they feel like they know you. And then they can, only then can they decide whether they like or trust you. So be real and just document everything that you're doing. It's going to make your life so much easier, especially when you want to publish content and you make that commitment.
Perfect. Guys, that's pretty much the long and the short of it. So what we're going to do next, let me just quickly have a look and see what's the story here. Oh my goodness, now I don't know what the story is. There
Oh,
you go.
yes. It's an outfit
See,
story.
there you go. There you go.
Beautiful.
Okay, so you know,
Yeah.
I'm gonna go into the details, but it's very frustrating. Anyway, so the next thing what we want to look at is our context grid. It's very much in line with what we discussed today, but it takes the whole thing further. And yeah, guys, see you then. If you like what you see, what watching us talking a lot of hopefully sense, like. Subscribe, ring the bell, as Jacques said, and we'll be seeing you guys.
Awesome.
So and remember, stay true to yourself and your business. Be enthusiastic always. Take lots of action, and above all, never ever give up. And that's all I have to say from my side.
Beautiful. Yeah, I think you said it all. Like I couldn't say it better myself. Fantastic. We'll see you in the next video.
There you go. Keep well, man. Be good.
Cheers.